This is episode 161. We are talking Stargate Atlantis. The Get Into Geek team is here. My name, Mitch. Joining me, Matty.
Yo.
And Brendan.
Hey, mate.
What's up, boys? How y'all doing in ISO?
Oh, just loving life.
Yeah, loving life, living in Zoom land with bad audio. Yeah.
No one's been injecting themselves with disinfectant to stay safe from the Rona?
Not yet.
Okay. Hasn't come to that? Yeah.
No.
I mean, the wisest words we've heard so far during the last 4 months of this pandemic. So big shout out to our American listeners. Hopefully you're all staying safe, and don't be injecting anything into yourselves despite what your esteemed leader may be telling you.
Or drinking bleach.
Sarcastically or not. Drinking bleach.
Yeah.
Applying UV directly to your insides. Just wonderful advice.
And in this year's election in America, vote for... it doesn't matter, you're the other way.
Best thing I did last day was get a roommate. I've got a detainment now. He had like a big, hardcore, breakup with his missus, today.
What?
Well, he
a bit of goss.
He broke up with her a while ago, but then she didn't get the idea. So, she's been here for the last, 2.5 days, and he's like, please leave. And she's like, no. And she's like, why don't you love me? So there was this whole big thing today. So it was
fun.
Wow.
Yeah. What would I be doing in ISO without that kind of entertainment? So.
Be searching for it on some Netflix reality show, you know?
Yeah, Maddie Shaw or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too hot to handle this. We are up to episode 5 of season 1 of Atlantis Suspicion.
You can really tell the delay.
Suspicious mind. And we can build our dreams on suspicious mind.
That'll do.
Yeah, it is. That was worth it.
One of my favourite Elvis songs, if I'm to be totally honest.
Pretty good.
It is pretty good.
Are there any bad ones?
Yet to hear one.
There are a lot of bad ones. There are. I'm a massive Elvis fan. I've got the 30 number one hits album.
Ooh,
and also I've got all the love songs. The love song ones are terrible.
Oh.
It's like Return to Sender and this about the
yeah, Return to Sender is not great.
Come on.
I mean, maybe a product of its time, and it would have absolutely smashed it in the 50s and 60s, sure.
Maybe it could be, you missed your call.
Yeah. You replied all. Something about replying all, and that's brought down many a great people.
Yeah.
Good song. The King.
Didn't watch my Insta feed.
Yeah.
Controversial for you two though. Who's got more stinkers in their back catalogue, Elvis or Elton John?
Elvis, 100%. He's sung a million songs, and a lot of them are bad.
Speaking of, though, I mean, I know there's been a few, but where's Elvis's version of Rocket Man and Bohemian Rhapsody? Where's his biopic?
They've made a lot of little ones, a lot of TV sort of movies. I mean, they're making that one on the Gold Coast at the moment before Tom Hanks got the Rona. But that's a Baz Luhrmann one. I mean, who knows what that's going to turn out to be? That could be some I feel like
Joaquin
fantasy trip.
Phoenix would be a good fat Elvis. Like Elvis, the week he died, Joaquin Phoenix wouldn't even need makeup for that. He could just walk straight into that role.
Don't forget though, the great Kurt Russell.
Yes,
Graceland.
Oh, that's right.
What about
Colonel O'Neill himself?
Bringing it back to Stargate.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were talking Stargate, so let's crack into the old synopsis of Suspicion, see what it's like, and then we'll just throw it out of the room, see what we thought. When the Atlantis team is ambushed by the Wraith on an off-world trip, Dr. Weir begins to suspect that one of the Athosians is actually a Wraith spy. Despite the disapproval of Taylor and Shepard, she confines the Athosians to a south side of Atlantis and interviews them. But when the interviews take an accusatory tone, growing tensions cause a mass exodus of Athosians from the city. Thank you for putting Athosians literally 3 times in that short.
And thank you so much for making sure the synopsis told us which section of Atlantis that they were confined to. That crucial plot point.
And I feel like this is more for Brendan than it is for Maddie. They gave the credit to Dr. Weir for suspecting that one of them was a Wraith spy. She got told that shit was going on. That she had to be kind of convinced of that.
What are they going to put in though? Sergeant Bates thinks blah blah blah. People are going to be like, "Who the f*** is Sergeant Bates?"
Yeah, that mother. Story by Kerry Glover, Danny's daughter, I believe. Never heard of that person. Oh, it could be a son. Who am I to know? Kerry's a great man's name. And directed by Mario Azzopardi. We've heard of him before. Also, teleplay by Joe and Paul. Is this an Atlantis debut for these blokes?
Oh, I suppose it has to be. There's only been about 4 episodes, hasn't there? And they've all been Brad and Robert ones prior to that.
Well, Brendan, who the they think they are? It's their first Atlantis episode, and they go off-world a couple of times.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
What the hell?
It almost...
Not only did they go off-world, they actually left the base and they explored and discovered a new part of the Atlantis planet.
Stuff actually happened.
Kind of.
Here's a fun bit
for me, it was the whole first half was pretty bogus. It was just we're being super annoying. And then,
come on, mate. Come on.
And then Taylor going, don't you trust me? And we're like, no, obviously. And then
not.
Taylor's people are like, do you trust Weir? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I think
like 4 weeks in and they're all fucking love each other.
I think Taylor's trust of like Weir in particular in this one was very, it took me back to season 1 of SG1 when Teal'c's just like, oh yeah, I'm loyal to you guys now.
Yeah.
His plot.
Yeah.
Like,
be his friend.
There wasn't really much reason for Taylor to like be that behind the expedition as opposed to her own people.
Yeah, I know, at least with Teal'c, even though that happened after like 1 episode, essentially, I really felt that life debt type thing that we've spoken about, where he had this instant sort of like O'Neill did something that he's never thought would be possible to be done, and saves a lot of people in the process, and took Teal'c in and was very quick to go, and he's going to join SG1 real quick. Like with Taylor, though, I feel like she played a little bit more of a role in the rescue of her own people and was sort of a bit more on the front foot about sort of stamping her place than what Teal'c was. Teal'c was sort of being told what to do, loyal, but being told what to do a lot of the time. So, yeah, I feel like the same as you guys, it was a bit weird when like her own people, like, are you not coming? She's like, nah, like these guys are heaps cooler than you. So enjoy making fire out there. If you can find firewood, I'm just going to be eating turkey sandwiches and watching football highlights for ages.
Yeah, and
old mate from the Lynx, like, come on. And she's like, he's like, oh, they're not the ancients, bro. She's like, close enough.
Yeah.
Well, a fun bit of trivia I had on the writers, we spoke about like Joe and Paul and the story idea by Kerry Glover. I dug into that. Kerry Glover, not their first foray into Stargate. Kerry Glover was the script supervisor on the much maligned Stargate Infinity cartoon.
Oh, okay.
So this could have been a little leftover plot point from Infinity that, just popped it over to Atlantis. Went, there you go. Here's a bit of gold from my failed TV show.
So was that pre-Atlantis, that series?
2001, 2002, I want to say.
Yeah, wow.
I don't know if it would have. I don't know. For me, I never even knew of its existence until years later.
Yeah, same.
So it was kind of like it probably didn't even air in Australia, to be honest.
Nah.
So I was very
SG1 barely aired in Australia. I still remember when they were playing season 8 on television, and I was waiting for Prometheus Unbound to come because I'd already read and I knew what was gonna who was gonna appear, and I was like, and they skipped it. They didn't play it.
Channel 7 were good at that.
Yeah.
Stargate SG1 on Sunday nights, and then next week on Wednesday, and the following week we're not showing it because the AFL Grand Final's on in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and they just skipped the episode rather than hitting pause and playing the episode. They were supposed to, we'll just skip that one.
Yeah.
You sons of bitches. So yeah, I think I had to wait for that one to come out on DVD before I could see it.
I feel like sometimes the DVD, like at least now there's a bit more synced up where, if you've got the DVD rights or the DVD release, then the production company, the studio or distributor or whoever won't let, a particular streaming service like air it or anything like that. Whereas back then I feel like Channel 7 had the rights and held onto it for so long that whoever was producing the DVDs and distributing them in Australia was just like, put season out, the box set out at easydvd.com.au, and Channel 7 were like 4 episodes into it, and all of a sudden we could just go and buy a box set, which we absolutely did, those big bulky ones I love, and take it home and watch it 16 weeks in advance of free-to-air TV. God, you kids today are so lucky. You have no idea.
Yeah, having to set the VCR and record for like 11:30 on a Thursday night to catch it.
Yeah.
Get the top end of the back end of Blue Healers before it starts or something.
Yeah.
Season 11 of Blue Healers. No one watched it. It's hilarious.
Oh, small towns.
Oh, mate, as soon as Maggie died, go home.
Yeah.
Don't even come to work, PJ. Jay, whatever your name is.
I feel like if I'd thrown those names out, I would have got shit hung all over me. But you've thrown it, everyone's just like, he knows them.
Not
I would
true,
have
mate.
respected the Blue
Everyone
Healers.
loves Blue Healers.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever saw a full episode of Blue Healers.
Oh, God, I loved it. The first note that I wrote down about this episode, it was one of those notes where midway through writing it, the show kind of like made a point out of it, because I started writing down, why do any team that we've ever seen in either SG1 or now Atlantis, they buzz through before the shields or the iris is brought down, saying we're taking heavy fire, we need to get through right now. They open it up, you see the blast coming through the event horizon. Our team comes through and just kind of stops running and turns around and stands there and looks it back through, as if waiting for something else to happen. I'm like, why do none of you run through and jump to the side or hit the deck? Yeah. And so I'm writing this down, and then McKay just gets like aced in the face or the shoulder or wherever it was. I'm like, thank God, like how did none of you? I don't know how that's not a thing. Like hit like as some kind of like military move, like or part of the Air Force. Now it's just like get through the wormhole and just go to the right or the left, whatever you run through as. Take an immediate right angle. You know,
not like even that. It's like the guards who are waiting there. They're like, we're taking fire, and they're just standing directly in front of the gate. Only a couple of guys to the side, and they have to dive out of the way. Obviously,
well, it does show even by accident, Wraith are better shots than Jafar. Like a Jafar can't even by accident shoot someone in the face.
No,
whereas you know the Wraith got pretty lucky in this time.
My first note, Mitch, was so far so boring. I don't know why. I just found that apart from Rodney copping it in the face, it was just like a lot of meetings and stuff. And I was like, okay, what else? I think the most interesting part was that they found out that the jumper bay roof retracted.
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
That was fun. But then, like, who do we give the award to for biggest douche? Kavanagh from a couple of weeks ago, or Bates from now? Like, who was a bigger douche?
Pretty
I
equal.
want to say Bates. Is he the bloke that we were just introduced to in this episode? It was sort of leading the charge of the investigation.
Yeah,
that's why I named him
Taylor.
Head of security.
You're a sergeant, mate. Relax. Walter outranks you. Just relax.
So we haven't seen him before.
No,
good,
this is first episode.
Okay, good, because I had no memory of him, and I know that we're on the other side. Oh,
actually, sorry, I tell a lie. He might have been in the pilot as Sumner's like little side bitch.
Yeah,
right,
I think that's the one. Yeah, because that's where it came up again. He said to Shepard, "If Colonel Sumner's here," and he's like, "He's not."
Yeah, okay, right.
Yeah,
still holding on to it.
And you're like, right.
Yeah. Oh no, I know they're on the other side, like in a completely different galaxy, and like they've got no one but themselves or each other. But I think if this was SG1 or in any other show where it's like the threat, there's someone as a threat, it must be one of these other strangers we've brought in, and then they clear those strangers. Oh well, who could it be? It can't be one of us. Like everyone from the get-go wrote off anyone from the Atlantis team from Earth as being a traitor. Like it couldn't be one of us, obviously. So it must be an Athosian. What else? It couldn't be. It couldn't be us. It's got to be something else. And when they cleared everything else, they still didn't bring up the possibility that it could have been one of their own, which is good. They trust each other, and there's no reason for it to be. But the fact that we were only, for me anyway, I was thinking we were introduced to Bates in this episode, and he was the one leading the charge going, it must be her, it must be them, it must be him. It could be anyone. It can't definitely be any one of us. Obviously, he would be the one to be the guilty party in the end if this was any other show, I feel. So I was kind of glad that it was like, he was like they said, he was right. Like it wasn't her fault, but it was still Taylor's doing. But she had no knowledge of it. Like,
she didn't realize it was her.
Yeah, so I actually liked that little turn. And then, like you said, Maddie, last week, that kind of goes back to answer my question from the pilot Double Up, where it's like, what are the chances that the very time that our team goes to Atlantis and the first planet they dial and they go to Taylor's planet and to where the rest of the Athosians are, and that just happens to be the time the Wraith attack for the first time in a generation or something. And now this bloody necklace, like, backpedals and explains that away, and also explains why this episode exists. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of like that. It didn't go where I thought it was going to go. I didn't think it'd be something so insignificant like that, and that there was no guilty party. So yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, and the way that they were able to make sure that, like, you could clearly see Taylor was still wearing it. It wasn't like waiting. So I like that they set it up and waited this long to actually then pay it off.
Yeah, and I feel like I was saying to Maddie before we started recording, I feel like it was my bad in the pilot, because I think I mentioned that I'm like, wasn't it her necklace or something that made them? And I was kind of like, it was a retcon that I forgot that wasn't in the same sequence. So yeah, we kind of in hindsight, when you think back to the pilot, that's why the Wraith came, was because old mate gave her the necklace.
Yeah, like John activated it by picking it up.
Yeah, using his ancient gene.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Kicked off the signal. I mean, the Wraith replied really, really quickly. Like, they fucking they were on top of it.
Obviously, out for a snack.
I guess, like what they said in this episode, like, you know, it wasn't just a tracker tracking the human colonies. It was ancient detector. So they were like, holy fuck, there's an ancient. So I guess that's why they were so quick to.
I really would like to see it from the Wraith's point of view in that instance.
That'd be good.
It's like this two hungover Wraith just haven't eaten for ages. Man, I could do with some Athosian. Shut up, dude. Don't even talk about that. And then they get an alert on the computer. It's like, do-do-do-do-do-do. Holy shit. All right, my treat. And then just go out. Take my dart, bro.
Actually, saying that, there is just banging a couple of darts, mate. There's an Aussie phrase for you. That actually, you just saying that made me think now, I never realised I always wanted a scene of, like, two Wraith being like, do you think, like, you know, an Athosian tastes different to, like, a Genii? Like, do you think, you know, Wraith have a preference?
Yeah, Genii tastes like broccoli because it's shit.
And Athosians like fried chicken, you know? Yeah. I mean, they're so greasy and, like, dirty and stuff, so it makes sense that, you know.
Get off Atlantis.
Well, see, and that's what they do in this episode. They manage to find a way to get rid of the Athosians without putting them on another planet. They're like, it turns out our planet's got land on it. Let's throw them over there.
It's like Brad Wright and Cooper have just gone, you know what? The Athosians are probably a bad move in the pilot. How can we get rid of them? In one foul swoop. I found this kind of, speaking of the accusatory questioning, Mitch, I found this scene quite interesting. This is Weir's interview. And again, annoying. Send in whoever's coming next. Whoever's coming in next, just send them in.
Don't you be shitting on
Send in whoever's next, please. Taylor, I wasn't expecting you.
I was surprised to be left off your list.
I didn't feel it was necessary in your case.
On the contrary, you should have spoken to me first.
Burn.
You're right. I should have.
I can tell you anything you need to know about my people.
Is it possible you don't know them all as well as you think?
Shut up.
I empathize with you, Dr. Weir.
She just ignored
As leaders, we are often forced to make difficult decisions.
That I love. I love that she
serve.
Below me.
But many of my fellow Athosians are not so understanding.
I know. But there's nothing I can do about that now. People can suspect my motives for these meetings all they want. But you and I need to agree that we have a problem. I have to do whatever I can to get at the bottom of it. And right now, that means sitting down and talking with every single person here.
You should know there is talk of leaving Atlantis.
Oh, really? I didn't realize I was being so antagonistic.
She's doing what she needs to do. If that was Hammond, you'd have no issue with that.
I'm pretty sure, though, if like a leader of an alien race was part of your team, you would say, hey, heads up, we're going to have interviews with your people, not just bypass her completely.
That's the double-edged sword for me, is like she doesn't quite know if she can trust Taylor or not, because she doesn't really know her all that well. Like, John's the one standing up for Taylor, but I feel like in the back of her mind, Weir is like, oh, it could be her, and that's why she assigns Bates to play bad cop, so that she's got an out just in case.
Yeah, dodgy. Don't like it.
Oh, I find that she's playing her card. She's doing the right thing. I'm all for it.
Sounds bitchy.
Sounds smart.
No, I actually feel like I was on, and don't get me wrong, I'm always watching a Weir scene, waiting for her to piss me off just because of the way that Brendan looks at her. But I feel the same way as Maddie. Like, when she's like, oh, I didn't feel like it was necessary, and I'm like, yeah, because you're looking at her in a different light, like you're investigating her harder potentially, because she's the one actually on the missions. Like, obviously the others might catch wind, or Taylor might actually tell them some shit, but they're the ones that need to be interviewed, whereas Taylor's going to be under much more of a subtle sort of watch. So yeah, I kind of like that. Well, in the reverse meeting though, when what's old mate, the other bloke, the only other main Athosian, and he was Holling. And when he came up,
Harlan.
Like,
is it Harlan? No, probably not.
he led like a full posse, and like we're just like walking around, and like I actually found it interesting that like she's the leader of the base, and she's just walking through, and no one's even like looking up from what they're doing to acknowledge her. And I'm like, if obviously she hasn't got the rank of like in the military. But even so, I feel like if Hammond's walking to the base, people are like, holy shit, there's Hammond. Like, oh my God, he's walking to the cafeteria. I thought he had his food taken to him. Like, does he really piss? He pissed in a general like toilet? I thought he had his own private shit up. Like that sort of thing where it's like, Weir's just walking through.
He has a bedpan.
No one bats an eyelid. He hasn't got up from that desk in 4 days.
Colonel, pass me that bedpan. I really got to pee.
Walter, have you done washing the last one? And then, Hauling leads like a massive posse of Athosians, and because like, we've come to talk to you. And I'm like, this is getting a little bit threatening, bro. Like, they're all surrounding her. And then like they said their piece, they said, we're here you've got, was that when I think they said, well, we hear you've discovered land, we want to go there, we want to leave, you don't trust us. And then they all left, and they walked, like they kept walking in the same direction rather than went back to where they came from. It felt natural for them just to keep walking the other way. And I'm like, are you going to get to a point and go, I hope she's gone because we really need to go back the other way because that's where our beds are and stuff? I don't know. I just found it really like blocking wise. I'm like, why are they walking that way? Like, what story wise? Where are you going? What is down that way? I don't know. But he was pissing me off. Like, he just kept coming going, why don't you trust us? It's like, this should make a lot of sense to you, bro. Like, if some shit was going down in reverse, you would accuse us of doing it because you trust every single one of your people. We don't know any of you people. And like Brendan said, you stink, so we don't like you and don't trust you.
And
have you heard of a shower? Obviously
from Weir's point of view, this is the second week in a row that in the middle of, trying to sort something out, Hollings rocked up with a group of his posse being like, oh, we're getting, like last week for them in 38 minutes when he's like, oh, we want to do our special ritual to say goodbye to Taylor.
Yeah.
And she's like, get out of my face. And he's doing it again, like just trying to like get a gang together and be like, you what?
Yeah. How about a banish you to this shitty island that McKay doesn't know how big it is?
Well, I mean, did you jump onto conversion.com at all, Brendan? I mean,
I was thinking about it, but I
15
finished
million
watching the
square
episode.
miles. Well, apparently,
I'm glad. I'm hoping. Can you answer? Is there some kind of answer in there, like that you can compare it to a country on Earth? Because that's what
Canada.
I was hoping for. Yeah.
Well, no. So he said they said the land was about 15 million square miles. So it'd be in between Africa and Asia. Africa being 12 million square miles and Asia being about 17 million square miles.
Okay, so it's a fair size. Jesus.
Quite large.
This is my favourite line in the show where Shepard and Rainbow managed to jump in a jumper and bail out the retractable roof.
It's strange not pulling any G's.
Yeah, kind of miss it. Although at this rate of acceleration, we'd be dead by now.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Without inertial dampening, we'd be hit by so many G's, our eyes would pop. Skin would pull away from our faces, our brains would squish up to the back of our skulls, and our internal organs would be crushed into these chairs. What about that sandwich?
I don't know why. I just dig that. It's like, oh yeah, that is so cool. Like they
I
just
kind of
going so fast.
I kind of like the lead up scene to that, where like he's like Rainbow's all excited coming up to Shepard. And he's like, "Oh, I heard you're gonna go and check out the mainland." And he's like, "Yeah, no, it's no big." He's like, "Oh yeah, you're right. You're just gonna go fly around an alien planet in a spaceship. No big."
Yeah.
I love that.
That whole bit was his most O'Neill-like moment, where he's just laying down the threat. He's like, "Man, I am hungry, and please tell me that's got cranberry on it." I almost wanted him to say, "Oh, your eyes would be crushed, and this would happen." Of course, all that being part of the Air Force.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
I forgot who I was talking to, and you're a piece of shit. Well, so I'm told.
Yeah.
Even the writers forgot what Ford's qualifications are.
Yeah. Totally.
I found something interesting that I noticed in this episode that I'm going to try not to spoil anything for Mitch, because I don't know if the writers intended this or not. But was this news to you, Mitch, where they said the Atlantis gate is the only gate that can dial back to Earth?
I mean, I hadn't heard them say that before, but it didn't surprise me like it was like a revelation. I sort of did question, I'm like, well, why would that be in a way? But then the scene rolled on and I'm like, what? It wasn't like they looked at the camera and told you like it was a big plot twist or anything like that. So, it does. Now that you bring it up, it sounds weird.
I just found it interesting because it was very much a throwaway line in the episode, and almost in a way, the first time I watched it, I thought, oh, that's because you need like a ZPM, and no one else is going to have a ZPM connection. It's a power requirement thing. So I don't know if that's the way it was initially written, but later on in the series, they're like, no, it's like a control crystal. Like there's like a crystal in the DHD that, it never becomes a big plot point or anything like that. Like the actual crystal itself, they just decide to say, oh yeah, there's a crystal in the DHD, and it means we're the only Stargate that can dial back to Earth.
Well, I suppose the main plot point is that the Wraith want to go to Earth because there's 7 billion of us at that point. So then they need Atlantis to get to Earth.
Yeah. Rather than the Wraith just being able to say, come up with their own power source or finding their own ZPM and just dialing Earth, at any gate in the Pegasus galaxy. Yeah. So I guess it does help make sense, and almost then gives us our own version of like in SG-1 when, if the Goa'uld are going to attack Earth, it puts the whole planet in peril. Whereas in Atlantis, it's like, well, if it only puts this couple of people, the Atlantis expedition in peril, acceptable losses. But the fact that can then mean, the Wraith getting back to Earth gives it, that extra layer.
Yeah. But I always feel we've got Walter there. He's in charge of the Iris. Not too worried.
We're sweet.
That's it.
I'm trying to think now. We have been to an ancient planet within the Milky Way, though, like as part of the SG-1 missions.
Like obviously, like at the end of season 7 when we went to Proclurish Teonas, that was an ancient outpost.
Yeah,
window of opportunity back in the day with the the time loop device. That was that was an ancient piece of technology.
That's right. I was thinking about that one. Yeah,
even the planet
repository of knowledge planets.
Yeah, I'm just bringing that up, I think, and this might be a spoiling it for myself sort of thing, but I kind of don't care about this particular detail unless you say otherwise. If the Atlantis gate is the only one that can dial back to the Milky Way galaxy, is the Earth gate the only one that can dial then to Atlantis and the Pegasus galaxy? Or could theoretically any of them with a fair enough power source? I'm asking if you're doing that. You're either a great actor.
I'd say definitely.
I don't know that it's ever been addressed.
Yeah, I'd say definitely not, because when Atlantis was created, the Antarctic gate was the Earth gate, and that's since been destroyed. And Ra bought this gate, so in fact, that obviously the Ra gate that Ra brought to Earth can access Atlantis. So I'd say anything anyone can go to Atlantis, but not the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel.
Yeah, and I guess
I find the whole control crystal idea is really stupid, because the fact that Stargate Universe has is a power requirement as well. They kind of have ruined Atlantis in a way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but there is also that, and again, I don't want to spoil it, but there is that whole thing in universe where the address is very important and stuff like that, and it sort of ties back to Earth as well. So that kind of buys it back for me a little bit.
Yeah, but they didn't dive from Earth.
Yeah, but that's what I'm. Oh, okay. But they had to use the Earth for origin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while since I've watched it, but I think that's how they do it.
I think it was just the chevron was the main thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But they have used that symbol to finish off the address.
That's weird.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's a huge mistake on their part.
Well, I mean, there are plenty of mistakes in universe.
I mean, I've only seen it once, so I can't confirm or deny that.
Speaking of mistakes, there was a pretty big one in this episode made by old Mario as a party. The way the gate room is lit, when Taylor has to like drag the unconscious forward back through the gate, like from the other planet, you see because they're not stepping really, like the actors aren't stepping through a puddle or anything, you can see their shadows on the ground before they've actually come through the event horizon because of the way that they've sort of double lit the gate. Yeah, you kind of see their shadows come through before they do.
Whoops.
Whoopsie. Now, I actually started thinking ahead to universe. And I know very little about it, but I was going to ask a question. But
What do you know about it, just out of interest?
Okay, this is going to sound completely dumb, but I don't know anything, so that's fine. That they like gate to a ship, or at least a gate is on a ship, but then they have no point of origins. There's no way of them getting home. They're basically lost on a ship somewhere out in the cosmos somewhere or something like that. I don't know.
You're just a part of the galaxy on this ship, this living ship. Oh, no, that
was different show. Yes, that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Okay.
No, this is it in a nutshell.
Help, I'm stuck in a giant nutshell. Actually, side note, I thought it was very on brand. The other day was Brendan's birthday a couple of days ago, and I flicked on the telly and like Go was playing Austin Powers on the night of Brendan's birthday. And I'm like,
nice.
Jesus, the stars have aligned.
I don't watch free to air, unfortunately. Fortunately.
No, I've just been
nobody does
for MasterChef and Lego Masters.
Yeah. Yeah, my kids, like, they get so upset when they see ads. We're watching something and ads come in, like, why'd you turn it off? I'm like, dude,
my kids don't know the concept of ads or like free to air TV. It's like, no, it's live. Like, you know, yeah, but just rewind it. Can you pause it? Like, they have no concept.
Yeah, no. Wow. And that's what I loved about my DVR is I could do that. I could pause live TV and rewind it and then record it and fast forward through ads later on and stuff.
Yeah, I guess it's a PlayStation Play, but I don't use it.
Oh, yeah.
Might be the equivalent for us when we open up a YouTube video and you get an ad that you can't skip. And you're like, what is this insanity? You mean I have to sit here for 15 whole seconds?
And the annoying thing they're doing now where it's like 2 ads. It's like 2 5-second ads or 2 10-second ads. And I'm like, are you joking?
Yeah. Well, on the PC, if you can get an ad blocker, so I got rid of the ones on the PC, but the ones on the phone you can't do.
Well, I mean, if you sign up for that YouTube Red or whatever, you can.
Great people at ad block.
Like Rhys said many an episode ago. Once you got over the confusion that it wasn't Red Tube and it was YouTube Red, there's no point looking into it any further.
Point.
If you're gonna pick one, can you? This again, this might be something I should already know or something that I'm going to find out. But as the first-time viewer of Atlantis, I can only ask what's in front of me. We've got the Wraith that we've met before, like the Queen, and in this episode, you get the main guy that they hold captive in the like the energy jail and stuff, who look like dark elves, basically. You know, the long white hair, the white skin with the big fangs, and all that sort of shit. But then you've got like the foot soldiers who are like big, bulky, wrestler-looking blokes.
Yeah,
and they have the hair, but they have like
They
look like brains or something. But the scab face is a good way to say it. So, are the scab things, are they masks that they wear for protection, or is that what those people actually look like?
I believe it's a mask, only because I think in a later episode somewhere you do see like a new one being born and the mask going on, but it's almost as if like it's almost like a Bane mask, like they can't live without it.
Right.
It's never explicitly said, but that's kind of the vibe I got. That like they were struggling to breathe or something, and then they put the mask on and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, it's very good."
Yeah, it's just weird because like you see the elf-looking one or the queen, and like while they're humanoid, you know, they're getting around. They got 2 arms, 2 legs, and they're dressed in like long cloaks and shit and long hair. They still look alien enough like that, but then you get the foot soldier blokes, the scab faces, and they've got the scab faces, but otherwise they don't even look like their arms are painted a paler color, and they just look like blokes, human guys wearing a weird mask, and so they don't even look like they're from the same species to me. I just found that like I almost couldn't buy into that action scene because I was too busy trying to work out, do these guys look like this, or they have to wear these? Is this what you wear when you're not part of like a royal family or some shit?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just asking weird questions, but I also wasn't sure whether we had that asked or explained to us before.
They never explicitly sort of get into it, but it is, because they kind of, the one thing they kind of do as well is like spoiler alert, we meet, you know, multiple queens, but they're all played by the same actress. So it's kind of like,
right.
It's kind of like this, the Wraith only have so much genetic diversity. So like that Lieutenant Wraith as well, the one that we took captive at the end of the episode, we meet many of them all played by the same actor.
Oh, cool.
But they're like their facial tattoo will change and all that kind of stuff. But the idea being that, they're just drones. Like they're just, you know.
Yeah, right, okay.
Like it'd be the equivalent of like if we had just saw like, you know, 5 ants in front of us, they'd all look identical, you know.
You got to be so careful to be racist.
Casual racism.
Someone out there will get offended at the fact that we said all ants look the same.
The thing that I thought was weird with the Wraith, though, is it seems really dumb to have a self-destruct in the middle of your chest.
Yeah.
Like, like if I punch a Wraith in the chest, is he going to explode?
Oh, yeah, like a putty.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Literally, like in season 2 of Power Rangers, Rita's putties go away and Zed's putties come in. They're the exact same thing. They've just got a vest on with a Z on it, and they figure out if they punch them hard enough in the Z, they explode.
Yeah, so I would have said Zed. It's dead. That's just me.
Is it Castle or Castle?
Well, it's Castle. I'm not from the north of England.
Oh, okay. All right. That's all right. So I'm wondering if maybe like they have to activate it. Like maybe there's something in their hand or wrist that activates it. Otherwise, you could just like punch them in the chest.
Punching your mic.
Well, that's actually good to know about the Queen. Like I'm not at all worried about that being like a spoiler thing, because like for me, she was, well, like I said, I think after part, it was a little bit sort of cliche alien. Like she's getting around just talking like this and like breathing and slurring and like drooling almost. She was almost too much fun to lose after only 1 episode. So that's kind of cool that they are able to bring her back and explain it away with the, you know, physiology of
and
that
I think
species.
It's also a money saving factor as well. It's like, well, they already have a mold of their face, so they can just like mass produce the prosthetics, paint them different. And they with the Queen, they like just, you know, give her a different coloured wig.
Yeah, right.
Give her a different outfit, and she's a different character. So I think later on they do end up replacing those actors because Robert C. Cooper's a cunt and he likes to fire people.
I didn't say that.
For the first,
Brendan, you sound different, Brendan.
Throwing my voice.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm the executive producer now, so you're fired. I love Donald Trump.
And ironically, when Brad leaves the show at the end of season 3, the whole show goes to shit.
He would.
He's injecting himself right now with a bit of Pino Clean. Just, get it into me.
That's how he gets that orange look.
You know what I love the most is that even though later they capture that Wraith, the Wraith is so menacing. Like Shepard has him in a jail and with a force field, and even though he tries to lunge at him, Shepard still kind of jumps.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that. Yeah,
cool. They're so cool, man. They're the coolest bad guys in Stargate, and I honestly, in all of science fiction fandom, they really are underrated.
They're definitely underrated. I think they're a really, really good villain.
Yeah, it's so cool. And that's why it's a shame that Atlantis is gone, because that, you know, I hope if they bring back Stargate, they bring back the Wraith.
Yeah. That will be good. Well, yeah, like as we spoke about in the past, there was no real resolution to Atlantis. Like they were supposed to get a movie.
Oh, didn't you read the comic, mate?
No, I did not.
Obviously not.
Obviously, we didn't.
But yeah, like, you know, when Mitch and I
Denial.
got to interview Joe Flanagan a couple of years ago, he spoke about how
Hang on,
you know,
what? You met him?
Shut up.
How come you haven't told me that?
Shut up. People listening who don't know Brendan,
Oh, yeah.
you know, he spoke to us about the fact that Atlantis was supposed to get a movie like Arc of Truth and Continuum, but that's when kind of MGM went bust and it never happened. And it's been through all the media and stuff like that. Like if you look it up, you know, a few years ago, Joe tried to buy it to get it made. Like, you know, Joe was trying to raise the money but it just
that'd been so cool.
There's
I think it was called like Stargate Atlantis. I think it was called Extinction or something like that was going to be the name of it.
Yeah,
I think I've heard that.
I've read a part of the. Well, actually, Joe Malozzi released part of the script for it.
Oh, that's right.
It was amazing. I'm not going to ruin it for Mitch's sake, but
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know which characters last the test of time, but imagine them going to make it. It's like, okay, here's what it's going to cost to make this movie, and here's what it's going to cost to make this movie and bring back Jason Momoa to reprise the role. It's like, oh, just add another couple of zeros onto that bad boy. You're not bringing back Aquaman for chump change.
Oh, I mean, the most expensive one's obviously going to be Rainbow Sun Franks, you know.
Yeah, great call.
Just,
great call.
You know, just trying to logistically, just, you know, around all his other work, just
Speaking of which, this was actually one of my favourite lines of the show.
You know, we still haven't named the planet yet.
Well, I'm sure the ancients have a name for it.
How about Atlantica? Something like that.
I thought we agreed you weren't going to be on the show anymore. I just had to have a bit of fun there.
He's so proud of him. He's a bit like Joey from Friends. Like, when I thought Atlantica, that's cool. That's great. I mean, I already
Joey was awesome.
Yeah. No, I'm not really comparing the two, obviously.
Imagine if when Atlantis ended, Rainbow got his own version of, like, you know how Joey got the spin-off?
Oh my god!
Imagine if they did like a Rainbow Sun Franks spin-off, like a Lieutenant Ford spin-off.
Stargate Rainbow.
Yeah. Mitch, something to look out for you too is this is the first episode we get to see Taylor in a stick fight. Doing a stick fight.
Dude, yeah. This is the emancipation for Taylor. Carter, eat your heart out, man. That was a stick fight for the ages.
Yeah, and they only get better.
The high shot, and you saw it as like, I mean, she was doing a lot of turning for no real reason.
There's a lot of hairography there as well.
It's just for this, so the stunt woman could be in it more than more than Rachel.
Actually, I thought that was an interesting lead up to that scene when they realized that it was the necklace, and obviously they're at war with these people, you know. But I feel like with SG-1, when from the episode 1, really, they're at war with the Gould. They weren't going out to fight the Gould. They were just going out to explore. And if they came across them, it's like, well, let's kill them, obviously, before they kill us. With this, they've obviously been exploring. They've been on 9 or 10 missions now, and the Wraith keeps showing up. But when they figure out the necklace is there, it's like, let's use this against them. Let's, ambush these motherfuckers and slaughter them in a circle. They laid a trap. And if they would have done exactly what they wanted to do, which I guess they did because they managed to capture a guy and murder everybody else. I'm like, this seems like the most bloodthirsty SG-1 anything I've seen so far, where their plan, that mission was to kill everyone that came across them. Not defend yourself and kill them if you have to. You haven't got a license to kill. This is go out there and murder these people. And they're pricks, don't get me wrong, kill them all. But it was that was the intent of wasting that power of the ZPM to go out there into another planet and find these people just to kill them all and take a prisoner of war. So, yeah, it's kind of
I think there's a little more leniency in Atlantis because they don't look so human. Because especially the scab faces, it's like, well, they may as well be bloody robots for the amount of those that we take out.
Yeah.
As opposed to what we spoke about in the past, where it's like there's been scenes where, you know, SG-1's just been wading through a sea of dead Jafar. Yeah. And they've kind of just got to cheat the camera away from it so you don't realise
just how bad it is. Yeah. Well, I was watching some Clone Wars the other day and I thought, I keep asking, why do the Separatists use droids? All they do is bitch about how ridiculously useless these droids are. You only ever see as a viewer, these droids are useless. They can't really think for themselves to an advantage, to a benefit of the people that they're fighting for. But I'm like, other than keeping it PG for Star Wars, for the audience to actually make a space war film where there's that much fighting and killing going on and not wanting to have a big body count, is there any other in-story reason that the bad guys use droids? And I don't think there would be. I think if you didn't have the droids, you just have a bunch of clones murdering a bunch of other soldiers, and there'd be so much death, and it'd be like, oh, we can't do this. Like, we have to raise the rating a little bit with how much killing there is going on. So probably is like that with the Wraith. It's like, yeah, like paint them differently, make them look a little bit funny in the face, and we don't feel it as much if they die. You know, like same as like I'm thinking about it. Even Avengers: Infinity War, when they're just like straight up killing that army, like War Machine just like rocket launches down there, and they're decapitating people, and like. And all the Avengers is like flat out just like killing hundreds or if not thousands of their
Scarlet
enemies.
Witch putting how many people through like those tractor wheels? Like just the shredders? Just
like if they all looked like humans, you'd never let that fly. That wouldn't be allowed.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Imagine they were all Hydra agents.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it wouldn't happen. But it's like you make people look different and like, you know, Brendan laughed before, it's like you can be racist. Like this is speciesist. It's like make them look different and it's fine if they die. Like it's like and it's cool like, you know.
In 50 years, they'll cancel Star Wars because all the robots will be too woke.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe you killed all these droids.
If only we would have known in 2002.
That's okay. The real test is like if a bunch of people die and Yoda doesn't grab his chest and be like, oh, I felt that. It's fine. It's fine.
You know? Roger. Oh, he was my favorite droid.
Yeah. Like Obi-Wan felt it when Alderaan was destroyed. You know, Yoda. When people, you know, it's if a Jedi doesn't feel the death, it doesn't count.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah. Then again, 6 or 7 planets were blown up in Force Awakens minutes before Han Solo was killed by his own son, and Luke's still like, nah, not leaving this planet.
Nope.
Yes.
That's how shit. Air quotes. Well, actually, you got to call him Luke.
Sorry, he closed himself off to the Force. That's fine.
Didn't Leia feel it though?
Oh yeah, she toppled over.
Yeah,
she nearly broke a desk. You know.
Well,
I'm glad you said desk.
Speaking of desks, I think Atlantis, the expedition, must have brought some desks with them. Because that big triangular desk that, you know, Weir was doing her interviews on, that's like a Stargate command desk. Like that one we used back in season 3 when we had like Cronus and Nearty and you came in Fair Game.
Yeah. Need to reuse
and then it was also in one of the flashback episodes, like was it Inauguration or the other one from season 6? What was it called? Disclosure. It's one of those. They had like the triangular table, so they've taken that and moved it into the boardroom in Atlantis. Because remember in the first episode in Atlantis, there was that weird like U-shaped desk with the spiky things on the front of them, and they've obviously just gotten rid of that and thrown this triangle table in.
I wonder how much like preparation they had to put in with all the shit they had to bring when they're potentially not getting back. Like, did they do run-throughs?
Well, they didn't know how big it would be either.
Yeah, that's true. Like,
could have just been an outpost.
How many contingencies they go? It's like, okay, we're 38 minutes now. We're going to open this like blast door, and you've got to get everything and everybody through in 38 minutes that you need. And this is when you can take heaps of shit. Okay, now we're going to do it when you've got to be minimalist for the next couple of years. Like, because otherwise, it's like 38 minutes. There's one guy that's like, he's just like dumped his girlfriend. He's just like sold his dog to someone. He's just spent all of his money on the casino and lost all his shit. And he's like right at the back of the line. And then like the 38 minutes, just the wormhole closes. And he's like, oh, God damn it. Like he just becomes a drunk. And
then obviously he goes and gets his dog back, but forgets about the girlfriend.
Let's move on, mate. Chevron 8 will be fine.
He's already said goodbye. Why bother?
Do you reckon the wound again? Do you reckon the expedition was like, oh, are we going to need to bring portaloos or do we just dig our own latrines? And they get to Atlantis and they can't dig because it's a city.
And there's no toilets. They've just been shitting in a transporter. And it's just going to the other side of the city.
Haven't we got 2 puddle jumpers? No, the other one's
No.
Again, you would just dial the gate and take a dump through it, obviously.
Yeah. Actually, we did get an email a little while back, and someone made a great point. Is they thought about You know how from like the Ashen in SG1 where they had that thing that like lifted up the gate and turned it sideways, and then the harvesters were pouring all the stuff through?
Yeah.
Someone said, well, you could do that in the SGC with that big silo. Why isn't all the plumbing to there? So like that silo just slowly filling up with the base of shit. And then, when you want to piss a Apophis or an Ubis off, you just flip it that way and just empty your entire basically septic tank through the Stargate. I mean, that's genius.
I want to see. I want to hear Baal respond to that because, like, we were joking the other week that, like, he's like, "You disrespect me." He's like, he doesn't listen, because, like, he's like, "Sorry, I was having a nap." It's like he's worried about like O'Neill not taking him seriously. Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, we'll send through Carter soon. Don't worry, we're gonna do this soon. Okay, we'll expect your call." And so, like, the gate opens on Baal's planet, and just like a mountain of shit just like comes through, just coats his first prime.
Yeah, the entire diameter of the event horizon,
just a funnel of poo.
Yeah, like Family Guy when they're all spewing in the living room. It's just
One guy gets sent the other side of the room, like old mate in Scary Movie, like hitting the ceiling. Except nowhere near as fun.
No. I think that's everything I've got. Other than the fact I was just going to ask you to speculate on the fact that we've got a Wraith prisoner now. But aside from that, ain't really got anything.
Yeah, it's pretty compared to how boring the rest of the episode is. That's pretty amazing. Like at the end of this episode, we have a Wraith in the base. Like, I hope to God these Naquita generators hold up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because
the
force field
in place. God damn.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder what level of power it is compared to, like, the Iris force field, given that, like, in the first episode, McKay's like, using power.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. I wonder if there's just one sole Naquita generator just for the brig.
Yeah, you'd hope so. And they haven't done any medical treatment for the guy. Because didn't Shepard say something like, how's the bullet wound hurt more, or the fact that you're so hungry you can't feed?
Well, I think they hide behind the idea of the fact that, in the first episode, like when oh God, what's Beckett, when he's like dissecting the hand that they got, and he's like, "Oh, I don't think something like this could ever live."
They're very resilient.
Very resilient. I don't see something like this dying of natural causes.
Yeah.
Great accent. So yeah, I guess the subtext for me was like, oh, he'll heal his own bullet wound, but he needs to feed to do that.
Yeah. Or will he heal himself and then starve, or be hungry? I wonder if he can go to sleep in there, like hibernate.
Ooh, yeah. Do the Wraith sleep, or do they need those little hibernation chambers to sleep?
Yeah, good call.
I did like that as a threat, though. Like the idea that obviously you could use it against any species. Like, oh, we're not going to feed you, but the fact that these guys are just so hunger driven that it's like, oh, you're in there, but oh, geez, I mean, is that going to be the worst thing, or is the hunger? Well, I mean, I wish I could help, but you don't like anything that we have to eat, so
yeah.
Anyway,
it'd be funny if they just gave him a plate of meat and 2 veg, and he's just sitting there trying to palm it with his hand. Why won't this work?
That'd be brilliant. Do you reckon they could feed on like lower animals? Do you reckon like a Wraith could just like pick up a chicken and just?
Yeah, I reckon they probably need something more like a beast of burden.
Yeah. Like is a
cow or
chicken
something.
Just going to be the equivalent of like us eating an M&M? Like, is that all it's going to?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I reckon it would be. Even if,
or a chicken nugget, I guess.
Yeah, because I always wondered that. Like, if you give them a cow or a horse, are they just as satisfied? Obviously, they are humanoid, and we'll find out why later. But
and a cow's like 3 or 4 people. Like
yeah, you think they'd be happy with that? I guess they just consider us to be beasts of burden anyway.
Yeah,
the same thing. You might as well have something that you enjoy.
Maybe
it gives you the most time.
Better.
Yeah. How old do cows live? I don't know. Maybe it's the amount of time.
That's a good point. So what?
I know that they love. I reckon they love the taste of humans.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you reckon they would feed on kids though, or be like, nah, not worth it?
Yeah, I reckon that's my point. Is like they would be like, I only get 10 years out of that. 18 to 22 years for cattle.
So it's like cheese.
Wow.
You want like the vintage cheddar.
Yeah.
You want something that's been sitting around for a while.
Yeah, the 12-year-old Scotch.
Wow, what does that say about the two of us when I go to cheese? Is that on brand or what?
Yeah, aged to perfection. Yeah, it's a good point because chickens are only like 5 years.
Yeah, even less. I mean,
Yeah,
I got the mistake of going to like one of those Steggles farms when I was like 12 or 13. And what you don't realise is like
that's way less. Way less than 5. Yeah, those guys are.
When I was 12 or 13, yeah, and it's like you get there and they're full-size chickens, but because of all the hormones and stuff that they're injecting them, they still have like their yellow baby feathers.
Oh, that's so gross.
They're not full-grown chickens.
Yeah.
So when people are like, "Oh, veal," I'm like, "If only you knew about chickens."
Yeah, that's true. But we don't care about chickens. They're not big enough to care about.
They're too delicious.
We're so weird as a species. Like, oh my God, you can't shoot a cow in the face. But the thing is, like, how many ants did you kill when you were 7? Like, seriously, I am the.
Flies do you still kill? Like I killed 2 flies that were in my kitchen before this podcast. They were on the wall, and I like get a tea towel and just like whip them, up against the wall, and I don't feel anything out of that.
I'm the cause of
like
several ant genocides. I know it. I'm the ant. I'm the ant
magnifying
Hitler.
glass. Yeah. Oh, mate, if you're a cockroach in this house, I will take great pleasure. And not even killing you sometimes. Like, I'll maim you 80% dead and then flush you down the toilet. So it's like while you're dying from your wounds, where literally half your body's falling apart, you will drown. Sometimes in human piss, Like, I haven't flushed that, and I see you, and I'm like, nah, you're getting the worst death imaginable. Like, why? And the funny thing is, I actually go back, Brennan, to like a teacher we had at high school. Brennan, no, P. Eddie, Mr. Edwards, Matthew,
one of the great
his name.
teachers.
One of the great teachers, old P. Eddie, and he and someone like killed a fly or a mozzie or something in the bus, and he's like, don't do that. They're going out of their way to kill this bug. And he's like, don't do that. And they're like, why? And he goes, it's great. He's got as much right to live as we do. Why would you kill it? Like, it's not hurting you. Like, why? And they're like, oh, because it'll, it's annoying or something. And he's like, it was such a small thing, like a small little insect, and it wasn't doing anything. And he made that point. I think about that moment all the time. I don't even know. I mean, I do, like, I'll kill a mozzie, and I'll kill a fly, I'll kill a cockroach or whatever. And a spider, like the spider's near my kids. Obviously, I'm going to get that spider. I don't know whether it's deadly or not. We live in Australia. Everything will kill you.
For sure.
But I'm like, I keep having his voice. I'm back in that bus in like grade 11 or 12, hearing Mr. Edwards going, that is a creature. It was born. What gives you the right to take its life away? And yet, I might think about that while I'm cooking chicken in a pan for lunch and looking forward to my steak tonight. Like, I've grown up wanting to be a bloody, red meat eating, drinking Aussie bloke, blah. But like, I keep thinking, I'm like, maybe all this bullshit in my head where I'm like, I'm trying to do the best to save the planet, blah, blah, blah. I should just be like going into a veggie or a vegan diet where I'm not hurting or using animals for sustenance, all that sort of stuff. Like, there's so much merit in that. But, then you turn that into a sci-fi villain. I'm like, these guys are pricks. But I'm like, that's what I'm kind of doing, but to a lesser extent. It's really...
all vegetarians are doing are eating our food's food. So they're making our food starve.
No, I always whenever I think about becoming a vegetarian, I always think, like, what if plants and trees are more sentient than we are? And they just can't... We just can't tell.
Yeah.
There's also that freaky...
There's no reason why we can't, because we share 99% of the DNA with every living thing. So why can't they be sentient?
Yeah, I think
they do are amazing.
Like, we get our air from that, like that's what, and it's not as simple as that, but like, it's a symbiotic relationship on the planet. I'm like, who's not to say that those things aren't like in friggin' Avatar or something, where everything in the world is all part of this one being that we've all got to like live with and be with. And
but you're eating the things that provide you oxygen. So it's like,
well, there's
and then the weird way we've been conditioned to be like, pigs, well, unless you're Jewish, I guess, but pigs, awesome. Ham, bacon, sausage, pork, whatever. But dogs,
Yeah, right,
nah.
Lisa.
Yeah.
It all comes from one magic animal.
But then it's like, oh no, you can't eat a dog. You can't eat a dog. That's f***ed up. But pigs, fine.
Well, that's the thing with all the corona going on. They're saying, you know, did it start in a wet market in Wuhan? And it's like, oh, those guys eat crazy food. It's like we're judging them because they'll eat a dog. Yet you go to like India and cows are sacred. And I'm like, I will eat the shit out of the cow. Like, I love eating cow. They're delicious. Like, I'll eat one part of the cow while I serve another part of the cow to my kids. You know, like we're eating cows that we don't like. They're red meat to us. We're in a different country. They're sacred. And dogs, I have 2 dogs in my house. Like, they're the most beautiful creatures in the world. Whereas somewhere else in the world, they're livestock. They're not pets.
Good eating.
I think, exactly. Like, that would freak me out.
There's a comedian that tells a joke much better than I'll retell it now, but it's basically like the most like disgusting, horrible thing you can ever do is like make like a chicken cheese omelet, because it's like you're serving a dead animal in potentially its young. Like if you put chicken in anything egg, it's like you're a monster.
Yeah, I always think about that. Like if an alien came to Earth and saw me cooking a barbecue, frying an egg, having a pork sausage and a steak, I'm like, he's like, what kind of sick or a veal or something? He's like, I want a baby cow and a pork and a bit of pig and also the offspring of a chicken. You sick fuck. Like, what kind of weird are you? You can't
I'm eating this bird's like ovums, like just like unfertilized egg.
Disgusting. You're disgusting. Yeah, but we're like, yeah, you know. Variety's the spice of life, so they say.
It's delicious though.
And before I ate that cow, I made sure that I drank a lot of its milk this morning. So it's like it served me, and I rewarded it by killing it and eating it.
Yeah, we took the food of its young to enjoy ourselves.
Yeah.
We killed the male calf so it would lactate, and then we ate it, and then gave the milk to our children, and so the cycle continues.
Full cream milk though, how fucking delicious.
See, there's your Elton John. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Terrible.
So anyway, Wraith, bad.
Wraith bad.
Yeah, Wraith bad. Yeah, not much different to us eating 3 different types of animals in one meal.
All right, well, that is episode 161 of Get in the Gate. Suspicion, episode 5 of season 1 of Atlantis. Next week, we are back in the Milky Way to talk some SG1.
Avatar.
Oh, nice.
Avatar.
Oh, that's a goodie.
I was just talking about that.
Before James Cameron copied it.
Yeah.
Obviously. All right, Avatar. Cool. Well, I have no idea what that's about. So looking
You're in for a treat, buddy.
Am I? What kind of treat? Not an icon treat, I hope.
No,
no, it's a Teal'c episode, mate. It's a Teal'c episode. You're
this
good.
is actually, after these 2 really slow episodes, it's good. Good to have something meaty.
You might want to go and play some Goldeneye if you can too. There's a little hint for you.
Oh, cool. Oh, hang on. I might be starting to have memories of this episode. Oh, shit, yeah. I'm actually very excited about this now. And I don't even know that I'm right. All right, we'll be back next week to talk some more Stargate with Avatar. In the meantime, you can check out all of our old episodes on your favorite podcasting outlet. Just search Get Into Gate, a Stargate podcast, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit us up on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Get Into Gate, a Stargate podcast. Or drop us something into the hairy mailbag. getintogate@gmail.com.
And if you want to be above suspicion, join our Patreon.
Good man.
Yeah,
Good
just
man.
like massive shout out to our newest patron, Stephen Wolf, which I don't think is his real name.
Oh, the Wolfmeister.
I feel like it's his pseudonym.
Oh,
But,
that's fine.
I don't want to judge. I'm not going to judge.
Just like fresh.
For once.
Was it Fresh Horse or something like that?
Fresh Horse.
Fresh Tosh. Yeah.
Fresh Hirsch. I mean,
Love
you
it.
say Stephen Wolf might not be the wrong name. I'm thinking of the guy that created Law and Order, Dick Wolf. And I'm like,
Oh,
really?
God, yeah.
Is that a real name? That's an excellent name. Like, excellent name. Like, if aliens come down, it's like, let's introduce him to someone. It's like, give him Dick Wolf.
Yeah.
Like,
And
he's
just
got a
think
lot of bases covered.
his social security would be Wolf, Dick. Like that's
Yeah.
he comes up Wolf Dick.
Wolf Dick.
Like on all the official stuff. Like his license probably say Wolf, Dick.
Yeah, he's best mates with Max
So-
Power.
Yeah, for sure.
Strap yourself in and feel the G's.
So we have a problem. Call Dick Wolf. We need Dick Wolf. What?
Donald
We
Trump's got a Dick Wolf button on his Oval Office desk. Get me Dick Wolf.
Great people.
That's the sound of the button, mate. Great name, Dick. I wish I had a name.
Yeah,
Greatest
so
dick,
good.
believe me.
Yeah.
I
And
still
believe
have
me,
the greatest dick.
nobody knows
Believe
dicks
me,
more than I do. Okay,
Everyone knows
nobody.
dicks like I do.
All right, we'll be back next week. Talk more Stargate. Catch you there. Stay safe.
Get Into Geek.
Believe me, nobody knows dicks better than I do. Brilliant. And you know he wouldn't be able to help himself but say that.
Nah, wouldn't be able to.
Mr. President, just before he goes like to a press conference, Mr. President, someone just told me they suck dick better than you. I go, oh, what? And he goes, first of all, before we get into coronavirus, I just want to state, nobody sucks dick better than me. Believe me, I've had plenty of guys give me great feedback.
Yeah.
Great feedback. Okay,
Just that's my wife. She's terrible.
That's when he brings out his little hands. I've sucked them this big. I've sucked them this big. This big. Okay,
They're all great.
all kinds of sizes.
This wide, this diameter. Okay, this diameter and this diameter.
Don't think I'm a spitter. I'm a swallower. I go all the way. Okay.
That's why I'm big in China. Okay.